overall intent of that budgeting is, like I said, just make it the way it's supposed to be, so it can be one of those Pleasant Valley Sunday places where everybody enjoys, like to live here, and regardless of, you're not going to get away with not paying taxes, and you're not getting away with and not doing those assessments. I can't stand here and tell you that I'm going to freeze your assessments or anything, because then that would be a lie, and we also be making a politician. But be that as it may, I'm basically here to perhaps be the individual that's kind of like neutral in all terms, kind of provide a different aspect, insight in the overall things. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll turn it back to you, board members, as far as obviously you can have some discussion, or if anybody is prepared to make a motion, you can do that as well.
Do you have any questions? Well,
I'll just say thanks to both of you for putting your name in. Obviously, you can see it's not a fun job and it's a thankless job. And it's not very rewarding either. So thank you for coming here to step up and keep it going.
again, a motion to appoint Martin for the board, seat number 4.
Okay, and do we have a second? Okay, if there's no second, that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
No.
Okay, so that vote carries 3-1. Congratulations. If you're prepared this evening, I can give you the oath and you can join the board. And then after the meeting, I will send you off quite a bit of information about being a board member, and as well, district council is always here at your disposal for any of the legal implications of being a board member, that sort of stuff.
You have to disclose all of your finances back to when you were born.
Okay, so if you want to, I'll read the statement off, and if you want to affirm once I've completed reading it by answering yes or I do, whatever your preference is.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that you are duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state, and that you will well and faithfully perform the duties of supervisor, Pointe CDD, on which you are now about to enter, so help you God? Okay, congratulations. Mr. Casement, thank you as well for participating.
I knew it was an effort in futility, but I was going to do it because many residents, like, if you want to complain and make comments about the board, step up and put your name in. So I did, and I knew you weren't going to get me. You were going to step. So I appreciate the time to come in here and talk to you, but I kind of knew what the results were, especially when 2 board members have openly attacked me. But it's nice to know the third one is on their side. So now I know. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Martin, I'm going to give you the oath of office. You're basically going to sign here, and you're going to fill out this bottom portion. And then I'm just going to take a scan of it. I'll give it back to you, and I'll get your information by the end of the meeting, and I'll email you off where this goes to and all of that good stuff. And do you happen to have your license with you by any chance?
No.
Do you have any form of ID by any chance?
No, I don't usually walk down here with it.
Okay, understand. So we'll just have to, if you can just shoot me like a copy of it or that sort of thing. Only because I'm doing the oath and don't know you outside of this meeting. So I'm sure there's probably people that can vouch for you, but I will hand you this to fill out. Okay. So the one item that we had from resident comments that we didn't address was the water item. So the one thing that I had seen between meetings was we talked about needing to turn it on. Apparently there was still an issue with it, so turning it on would cause issues. I'm not, Gary, I don't know if you had any updates on that one. This is the irrigation pipe that the valve was closed, and then when they went to.
Once they look at it, they said, we're working on getting a plumber in or the county in.
Yeah.
To get it repaired.
And this is the one,
Are you talking about the one?
they told us $1,000 for the thing.
That was the one related to the 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we get to the irrigation, landscaping, I have more details to share because they spent with them 5 hours today. 5 hours, we went through the entire irrigation system.
Okay.
The valve was actually shut off. That's why everything is died on that side. So when we get to that point.
Yeah, and they told us that it was shut off because it doesn't appear, or there appears to still be an issue that they had to get with the county on, but we can talk about that. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Fair enough. So we'll move into the next item, staff reports. First is the engineer's report. So I didn't hear from Jeff that he wasn't coming, so I thought he would be here to discuss these particular items. However, there were a number of emails that went out as well as the information in the agenda package. So certainly we can discuss these items. I also have information that I handed out adjacent to engineering. We had him look at the dead ends and getting signs for that. So you'll have a proposal in that package that I put next to everybody's tablet. And we can talk about that as well. But essentially, we found out, of course, you could put those signs in. We got specifications from your engineer on types, size, location, suggested locations. And then we got a quote from Mike Signs, who's somebody that we've used in nearby districts. And so you do have that for consideration this evening. We can additionally get other quotes if you want to. From my perspective, the price seems in line with what we typically see. But again, if you want additional quotes, we can certainly do that.
This is the dead end signs and the cul-de-sacs.
And I will add in addition, so obviously we had the request at the last meeting, and then we received several other requests that were all in favor of, you know, similarly the dead end sign or the no outlet sign more specifically. So there's definitely a fair amount of interest, just to give you that additional info.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at this particular one, I mean, this community is not a through way. The only people that are in this community right now may be a little bit of construction, but otherwise, it's because you live here or you're visiting someone here. I personally don't see the need to spend money on putting more signs up in the neighborhood.
I agree. I mean, it's not like a downtown. The people that lives here.
Okay.
We'll say that it's dead. So.
Yeah.
Is there like a standard of what should be there? Is there like, you know, a standard that we would follow for, you know, if something is a cul-de-sac or dead end?
So I don't know that there's necessarily a standard. I know in circumstances where boards desire to make it known that it's a cul-de-sac, this is what's typically done. If you chose, you would put in these no outlet signs, and that's really about it. I've seen it done places, but equally, I've seen other folks that don't want oversaturation of signs. And so, you know, it really does come down to a board preference.
But I will tell you, there's another thing that I want to talk about eventually. He spoke to you about it, and he
Mhm.
hasn't come up with the board yet, but there's been, I also feel a large number of residents that have expressed concern for foot traffic,
Mhm.
e-bike traffic, and all kinds of other traffic behind their homes on CDD property and along the preserves. And from my preliminary research and discussion with you, we're not obligated to have those places be footpaths and shortcuts for people, especially where residents are concerned that they have no privacy in their own little backyard because people are hanging out there. And so my point is that discussion led to the fact that if we were to designate some areas and make it clear that they're not foot traffic, it's for official business only, CDD maintenance and whatnot, that there would have to be some sort of small signs placed at the, you know, beginnings and ends of certain areas so that people were aware that it was enforceable, you know, and not, I don't know if I would go so far as to say no trespassing, but it's the acceptable use of that area. I would rather see money spent, $1,000 or whatever spent on signs for that purpose, to give people a little bit of a private property, respect, than to see them on a couple of different signs as well. That's
Yeah.
another reason why I don't. see
So
spending money on it.
understand.
Further.
Yeah, so if, at least specifically related to the no outlet, if there's no motion, then there's no action. Obviously, I can let residents that have reached out, I can let them know that the board discussed it, and at this time that we're not moving forward with
How
it.
many residents have reached out?
I believe it was 6, if I remember correctly.
I live on one of those cul-de-sacs, one of the 4. I know you guys, some of you, or I know you have, yours is real short though, but there's people zooming down Reiss Bay all the time and then slamming on the brakes when they get to the cul-de-sac and it's a way out. So, you know, I see some of the same issues some of the residents do that. And actually, I know it's going back and forth. I think the sign actually at the one is a dead end sign, not a no.
It's a dead end one. Okay, got it.
I actually saw it the other day, I think out with Halloween or whatever, that it's actually dead end.
Okay.
But, so, I mean, I don't see an issue with, you know, is there a discount for buying more signs? So if we're buying signs for putting up in some of the areas for, you know, alerting people that they shouldn't be going through those areas behind properties.
We can certainly ask. I think that's reasonable to think that there might be a discount, only because obviously you have a mobilization charge typically. So, you know, doing it one time potentially for several signs rather than 2 times for, I would think that makes sense. So we could, when we get into that discussion, if it's determined that we need, or the board desires to get some signs for those wetland areas, then we could certainly ask that question.
Let's also ask the engineer, I guess we didn't ask him specifically, we asked him if he wanted them. Were there any restrictions about placement relative to other signs and so on? We didn't ask if they should have been there already.
Right.
And you know, someone said that. Are they supposed to be no outlet signs there and they just weren't there? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question.
So typically, if they are supposed to be there, they're, you know, when the community's done being built, there's basically kind of a checklist walkthrough with the county, and especially for DOT type stuff. So probably not. I mean, we could double check, but it's a pretty strong probably not required.
I don't care to see talk about the signs go any further, but that's just me, and we're all discussing it, so we get an idea of where we all feel, what we all feel, and whether there's a motion warranted to keep going down that road.
Yeah, I mean, if we're considering it, certainly a motion would be appropriate. And if there's not a motion, at least at this time, we probably don't need to discuss it much further, to be honest with you.
I mean, I could see us talking about it as well when we talk about the issue that you brought up about areas behind the houses and so on, because there's no rush anyway. And if it does turn out that there's a number of areas that the board agree, you know, I don't even know if they agree, but let's say that we have the discussion, which is not for today, and there's agreement, and we find out that there's potentially a lot of signs, then maybe, yeah, there's some savings. Now, if we need 15, 20 signs to protect the people's backyards, then maybe 3 more. It's a non-thing, but
Sure.
I would make a motion that we, now everyone's aware there's something I do want to talk about, but I don't want to, you know, we don't want to squeeze all these things in one meeting. That we talk again about the dead end signs in context of signs as well for the backyards and properties and pick it up at that time. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's essentially.
Yeah, no need for a motion. We'll put it on, you know, board direction if that's okay. You want me to put it on the next agenda, part of that general discussion?
Yeah.
And make sure we estimates for the yard sign as well together.
Well, I don't know if we're at the point where we know what the yard size would be, because we as a board would have to talk about whether we would want to designate. This is why it's great that we have the map now, and we have an
Yeah.
engineer with the map ability to update the map, because the map could be used with his help to identify areas where these signs may make sense.
Yep.
We already know some areas because they're the problem areas where this foot traffic and dirt bike stuff is occurring, but there are other areas as well that no one has complained about. So the question for a board discussion would be, do we wait until someone complains and just address the area that's currently of concern? Or do we take it upon ourselves to look at all the areas and make it clear to the community that there are certain areas that are just not open space, common space, recreational space?
So. How many signs have been, like 3?
Yellow signs?
Yeah.
You know,
it was 3 or
If you check,
4.
if you check,
Three, there's only 4 cul-de-sacs.
if you check online, they're selling for $50 a piece. All you need is the text screw and you screw it to the existing post. And a stop sign post, and that's it. If that's what we're gonna do, we're gonna spend $1,200 if we can get for $50 on eBay. Test screws, the maintenance team can do it, they can do it, anybody can do it.
Okay. I mean, that's certainly an option. I don't know. I can't think of any reason why that can't be done. The only thing we might want to just run it by the engineer to say, hey, is there any, with these being the other signs potentially being enforcement signs, that if we put something on it, does that cause any issues?
Man, we asked them last time, we said no problem.
Oh, okay.
You can put it like an existing, like a.
On poles that are there?
You
Yeah.
can- Yeah, you can mount it there.
Well, that certainly obviously sounds like a less expensive option if you want to go that route.
I guess so. I mean, you guys can, I don't know, you guys have the credit card and everything, you can purchase them like through eBay, or there's a lot of websites that sell them, myself, and get like.
We can take a look.
Yeah, the most expensive one is $60.
So, okay. As for right now, is that something the board wants to do, or do we still want to have the overall discussion?
Did Jeff's, did our engineer say exactly where they would be placed and what signposts they would be on, if they were based on existing signposts versus new?
So his information basically stated as, or was described as new posts. So he gave specific locations for new posts in each of the cul-de-sacs.
Right, so he, for whatever reason, we asked him to review from a METCD standpoint, traffic control devices, where they should be placed, and he may have thought that they should, based on offsets from the intersection and offsets from other signs to avoid confusion. He may have thought that was warranted to put new posts up.
Well,
That's
so,
why that's where the cost comes from.
it sounds like we were gonna talk about this next meeting anyway. So why don't we make sure that Jeff's here? He can answer this specific
Yeah.
question. Hey, we're thinking just put it on the stop sign. Is that
Right.
okay? And,
None, either of them are. I just know that there's concern, obviously expressed about those signs, and the board had received an email just recently. I was already on the action list, I wanted to talk about this activity behind the houses, especially the dirt bikes. But we just got an email with last week, another resident concerned, same thing, so.
yeah, and that can be part of, again, I think his involvement in letting you know, okay, so in order to get potentially, if you wanted to do it for a number of different wetland areas, he should be able to give you good guidance on here's the optimal few locations rather than behind every house. If you
Right.
hit this area and this area. So if you want, entirely up to you, we can either give him that information at the next meeting. Hey, here's what we're looking at, or I can give him that direction. The board is considering this. Can you look at these areas that might be traversed in negative ways for homeowners? And can you give kind of similar to what he did with the outlet signs, except we don't want 1 million signs, but what would be the good spots,
Right.
maybe common travel areas? We know of 2 of them at least.
Yes.
So if you want me to work with Jeff on that, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, that'd be another idea.
Okay.
Because then he could come with the graphic, he should have a mock-up on this map that he could discuss with us.
Yeah, that way you guys can be, potentially decision ready with the information he can provide.
Yeah, and CC me on that to him, because I I am aware of all of the concerns.
The location?
and stuff.
Okay. Okay, so just moving back to his report and the 4 items that were listed there. Again, Jeff not being here, happy to, if anybody had any initial thoughts or questions on what you may have received, obviously via email, as part of that. I know I'm not going to put Gary on the spot, but he might have some information on some of them, like the great cleanouts or something like that. But again, I don't want to put you on the spot. But I'll start first again with our board members, if you guys had any questions or thoughts on those items.
So the one that's listed like ditch breakthrough or ditch side breakthrough, or whatever you termed it, I'm assuming that's the Hilger property, the washout that occurred during the hurricane. The guidance we gave him was come back with, some kind of construction detail, construction specifications so that Kai can go get some prices.
Put it out to bid, yeah.
So I'm guessing without being able to confirm with him that's what that particular item is about. And that he is now saying maybe that in order to do so, he needs a survey or he needs to survey the area because the item says, I mean, you can read it, I don't have it in front of me, channel breakthrough survey or something to that effect, right? So I'm just trying to surmise what that's about. I'm thinking that he may think he needs more information, like some grades, you know, some topo or something to do a proper detail. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to wait and ask them.
That would be my speculation as well. Again, so, and any of these questions that I asked Jeff, what I'll do is I will BCC the whole board on number one, the question, and secondarily the response. Again, that way you guys are best prepared when we come to the next meeting.
Right.
But my speculation is the same as yours on that particular issue and that being related to that
Yeah.
property.
And I would, if that's what it is, I would probably disagree unless he sees the requirement by some, it's not in the wetland, it's not in the preserve area, it's not in the, you know, there's no purpose needed to do it. So I'm not quite sure why, you know, any, survey would be needed to do that. It's a simple, you know, construction detail, what kind of filter fabric, outlet pipe, anything like that.
Yeah.
Match grade both sides, outside the disturbed area, and then have a couple contractors come out and look at it and give a price, like, so. When you bring it up to him again, just have him also reach out to me if you will.
Yep.
For clarification of those. Yeah, it would be great to move something along between now and the next month and be a
Yep.
little bit ahead next time.
No, that's fair. I agree.
I know she's waiting.
Yeah, no, I understand. Any other general questions on the 4 items? And Gary, did you have anything on these?
I walked that area in the back at the homes.
The erosion area?
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive back there at the erosion issue. And also there is a post that looks like it's been there forever, that's delineating that it's preserved and it's CDD property. That'll need to come out.
Right.
So
That's true.
we keep mentioning the area that just keep,
They put folks, preserve folks there.
the areas that just keep like grading away and washing away anything. Is there any kind of fix? Like, should we get a quote to see what it costs to fix it? Are we expecting the
It depends
builder or
if
the
the survey
developer?
is needed or not. I don't know. Once we find that out, then we can get estimates from vendors that I've used
Yeah.
on other washout areas.
Yeah, essentially back to the original idea or whatnot, or thought process from the last meeting that Kevin mentioned is basically all we need is specifications, right? So the engineer, it sounds like he might need to get a survey first, but once he has that and he uses that as developing these specifications, we'll basically take it, and there's a number of good companies that do these types of erosion repairs, whether it be the filter fabric or riprap, any number of different repairs. But that's kind of what the engineer is going to tell us. Okay, go get quotes for this. And that way it'll be apples to apples. So we can move pretty quickly as soon as we get that.
Additionally, there is overgrown plant material all throughout there. So once that's completed, then it'll all need to be mitigated.
Yep.
So
And is it, so it's as you said, right? I mean, if there's no drainage issue that comes from that area.
Well, typically, yeah, the easements in most properties get maintained. And most CD properties I have get maintained.
Yeah.
So they don't encroach on any resident homes.
Another point that is on my list of things to talk about with regard to the areas behind people's properties.
Mhm.
There is this one specific area here where the whole area is mowed behind the fences, and there's a small little offshoot that was obviously cleared out, used for construction, and the resident has asked, can we just let that grow? I mean, eventually, it'll block that hole in the trees, it will look nice and whatever. Talk to Jeff, it's not part of the area that needs to be mowed for drainage purposes. We don't need to make mowing for ourselves and weed whacking if an area can go back to a natural state. I mean, what's the objective to that? Especially if it's just like a dirt mound like that, people want this.
Yeah, and if it's a sensitive area that's causing issues with kids on dirt bikes, that sort of thing, then completely understandable. And I think that's the proper way to look at it, right? Like if we're having a specific drainage issue or something else, then
Yeah.
clear it out. If not, you guys are, we checked with your engineer, you're fine.
Yeah.
Right, some of them are grass, they're not, I mean, we're talking about, you have a bushwhacked it. It's a dirt mound,
Yep.
It's got weeds growing on it, but we're gonna stop maintaining that, it doesn't make any sense.
Understand?
Unless someone's clamoring.
We take direction from the board, so whatever you all determine with the help of your professionals makes complete
Right,
sense.
I think over time we'll pick away at all these
Okay,
little areas and spots.
fair enough. Next item is landscape manager. So this is probably a combination. I know you had some quotes you were discussing.
Yeah, so we sent photos, hoping that Gary's gonna print it, but I know we got a lot of projects, so I spent Monday, Tuesday, since noon until 5 PM with those guys. Checked every single sprinkler head, the controllers, so we do have 3 controllers in the community. The front one is a Hunter, the one by the gate over there, it's a Hunter, the one here is a Draper. Doesn't make much sense, but anyway, yeah, I know. The irrigation, is one of the biggest issue we saw, so we have a lot of damaged sprinkler heads. It's in the quote of that, so a lot of need to be replaced. The main entrance, so the left side, which is ours, not the medium one. All the nozzles over there, they're definitely the wrong nozzles because they kick the water up. You need the side ones. And that's why when you drive in the daytime and early in the morning, you see like it's a lot of water in the road because the water is going to go into the sod, it's going to the road. All those need to be replaced. You have the sprinkler heads that when we put the rocks to, they still working. Those ones need to be blocked. We have, I don't know why, we have 8 rotors in the dog park. Why do we water in the dog park for?
I'm just new to the property, I can't.
Yeah, I know. Those will need to be gone as well.
I mean, that might have been in the landscape plans, and typically, they don't do anything outside of the landscape plans when they install material. So if the plans say drip line, they put a drip line.
Yeah,
They
no,
put rotors, it's road.
So we have 8 rotors over there. There's no grass. It's basically weeds and whatever. So that's a lot of waste of money too. Water, I mean, every single big tree in this community don't have the bubble sprinklers. They have normal nozzles. Those normal nozzles, it's 3 gallons per minute. We're wasting a lot of water, which probably that's why a couple of them are dead because of getting overwatered as well. Every single one of those needs to be replaced too. What else? What else? Check the irrigation behind in corner behind that, which hold a second here.
So is there irrigation division giving you an estimate for all this?
Yes, they did. That's why I was the one he
Okay.
copied me on it.
Okay.
The entire drip line inside the wall, 8 breaks. That's why there's no water. The other thing is you can see I heard some neighbors talking about like, oh, the grass is dying. We don't have air. It's not irrigated over there. There's nothing we can do about it. Other than we're gonna spend money to put it in the irrigation system. It's behind your house I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If it's been
broken for the year,
Yeah, that's-
it's been reported over
That
and over.
entire thing, which it's funny though, 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago? When this guy started, the same day they started, You have the other ones who are doing a wet check.
Fine.
Yeah, no, basically, they're not looking for nothing. Everything is them, so the irrigation thing is a big project.
Can I ask you a
Go
question?
ahead.
Would it be reasonable to say that our last landscaper who fired us should have notified us of all these things? Or
But that's what was exciting.
I'm just curious.
Of course. The
they
check,
did their wet checks and stuff? Should they have pointed these things out if they knew if they were?
They should give you a report basically every month that says we did our wet checks. Here's what needs to be fixed.
so I want to go through it, let me see the estimates, here you go. They gave an estimate as well about replacing those trees, so the trees, the total trees are 7, 11, then 2. I wish they, I don't know, was it, the trees replacing dead trees and stuff, so take them out and replace them is gonna be almost $20,000.
Just so I understand and clarity for the, when we say trees, we're talking about the trees on the
Outside.
outside wall.
Yeah.
Like when we walk, when you
Yeah.
walk from around the whole thing, everyone does, you see all the trees that are broken, leaning over and everything, and we've discussed this a couple times.
More so than LMP said, we're fine, they're fine.
They're growing, they're coming back.
Are all those oak trees?
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah, a lot
The
of,
oak trees.
the oak trees are here too.
But if
There's
they're
other
not oak
different
trees,
ones.
we're not
I
required.
understood this.
But it's also when you look at the wall, like, let's just like, when you come down Carter and you look at Del Webb, they have green bushes, the whole wall, you know, say hip high, whole thing, and then it gets to, we have a section of it and then just die off. And it looks terrible, and we all walk it, we all see it. Is that also because of irrigation, or is that just?
So any landscaping, if you have no water, you're wasting your time.
Again, but I'm saying, those areas there,
It was, a lot of those
so the
bushes.
trees that are dead, is there a reason why?
So the
they're dead?
trees, what happened is, so this is what I'm thinking. All these years, those trees were being watered with the wrong nozzle, so getting a lot of water. Just follow me, Gavin, just follow me. Any kind of storm, when you have, and they were watered every single day. It's easy to, they come up after the,
I never heard of trees being, rotors for trees. It's always, bubblers. So typically, I've never heard of a company coming in and putting anything other than bubblers on the bottom of the trees, and you can adjust the water usage for the bubblers.
yeah.
I don't know sprinklers, I never, it's, you're not supposed to. use
Bubblers,
sprinklers for
that's
trees.
my point. The bubblers we have only here. Every single
If
one
the-
outside, it's nozzles.
If the turf has sprinklers and the sprinklers are impeding on the trees, then that's an issue. Then you have to get different nozzles for this.
So this is how we have it here. The wall, outside of the wall, you have a roller in the top, a roller in the bottom, so like this. So when that's for the grass. Next to every single tree, you have a sprinkler head with a nozzle that, normal nozzle. That protected, that gives like 3 gallons per minute.
And that's.
And they will run it for 40 minutes every single day. Do the math.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
They were a good company with a good reputation, references.
2 of them.
We're lucky that they fired us.
Well, just saying. The other thing is when you have these plants dead, which a lot of our oak trees and stuff, I don't know if you had a chance to see it. During the hurricane, when they put it back there, you put it back correctly. You have all the roots outside. Tell you, so I will just give you an estimate from the numbers I saw here.
Yeah.
To get this community running like it's supposed to when it comes to irrigation, fixing the trees, trimming, replacing the bushes, trimming here it's gonna be around $35,000.
That's not bushes on the inside wall at all.
No, those ones we didn't get.
Is there any irrigation on the inside wall?
There is 8 breaks on them, but so
There's a line, it's just not.
the drip lines, the way they work, they have, because it's long.
Right.
In every section, there's like a metal one, kind of a T section that gives more pressure. That's the one that controls the pressure. It's broken over there, and the problem is, if you take a walk by the wall, you will see a hole in the dirt from the water, which you don't even, a normal guy couldn't tell that.
Yeah.
All these years, nobody caught it. We have another 3, how do you call them? The sink in the ground.
Washouts?
No, they're just, the bed. I lost the word. See to control the irrigation from the boxes.
The stolen?
Yeah.
The cylinder. 3 of them are gone. 3 of them are, they're fried out. Nobody told us about them. We have
a line in the front, which it's drip line. You can see when it's coming and they tie it, it's broken.
Yeah,
You would think they close it, that thing goes open, and every time the line kicks in, it's pouring water.
So, all right, so we agree that there's an issue from how it was managed prior to what we have.
Exactly,
So the issue was, which is a little bit of a head scratcher, because the company before, good, bad, or whatever, they could give a quote, we would have had to pay to fix it, they would have made money off of it.
They didn't do nothing.
But to just let it go, it is what it is. So how do we fix it going forward?
So, what is it?
So-
The irrigation, it's out of question, we need to fix it.
Yeah, let me make a suggestion, because I know, obviously the ideal situation, everybody would have looked at the information. Obviously, we can disseminate the proposals, that sort of stuff. So my question is, $35,000, probably a few, around a few proposals. Everybody can look at that. I can certainly look at the financial side of it and say, here's where you're at, here's what you can do. However, the important part, I think, for this evening right now in this meeting, is there anything from your perspective that needs to be done right this minute?
How much did you irrigate?
$8,000. So this is what I'm thinking, to put it logically, right? What is the biggest complaint we have in this community? Landscape. Okay, so if you do the math, $35,000, divide on 369 homes, how much is it, like $5 a month or something like that? Do you want to be done with it, or we want to keep hearing about it? That's how simple it is.
We've never denied any, repair, maintenance, or improvement that was recommended to us, ever.
Yeah, we'll still.
That's what
Well,
I'm saying, it wasn't,
A
so.
lot of these issues,
That's what
I
I'm
think
looking
they
right
go
now,
back.
because it makes it easy.
But I mean, it's been years, especially like behind Park, that's been years. There's been complaints for years on that. So that's multiple landscape companies that have failed to do, and I, it's been a while since we got a wet check from any.
And then when we talk with the bad ones, Gary, you have anything?
there are so many inherent issues that need attention here.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, number one, you might pick an area first and do the irrigation. Because without the irrigation fixed right, there's no use replanting anything. So, I mean, there's multiple areas. The median needs a lot of attention.
The median in the back, you talking about?
No, the median,
Along the back, it's like shit.
the main the two
Well, that,
entrances, correct?
that we're having to wait till the developers or the builders are done
So-
here because we're gonna supposedly ask.
Go ahead.
So
I
Just-
think,
good news, you have $25,000 for irrigation repairs in your budget fiscal year 2026. You may have spent a little bit of it. We're basically 1 month into the year.
yeah,
So you certainly, if you want to jump on some of that, you can. We just have to be cognizant that if we spend whatever, $8,000, we have, the balance is what it is for the rest of the year.
one more thing I want to mention, so the behind your house, where the grass is dying because of it's bad, but the thing is, if you wanted to be green all year round, so I was talking to the guys, it's gonna cost us some money. We can put the mist irrigation system, what's gonna be doing is gonna be watering the bushes, and a lot of water is gonna go down to the grass. But that's a different story, it's gonna cost us more money. What do you think about that, Gary? It's a good option, because it's down, so it's gonna be misty and water in the bushes, and then the extra water comes down. Or you just want to ignore it, because I don't want to hear about it anymore. We have no irrigation there. It's not irrigated, just like right here. And right here,
I mean, the question is I guess the irrigation hasn't worked efficiently, hasn't worked all the way across because of all the breaks.
yeah,
But even, I mean, we're replacing the drip line, so there'd be water.
to come down, yeah.
So,
And the good thing about the drip line, you're gonna have, it's not restricted as like in, you can run it 7 days a week because it's slow compared to the amount of water you can do the other ones. One more thing about this right here too is that it's not
So
water.
he's been.
So what the guy said, there's 3 palm trees here. Those palm trees, the bubblers, they can replace them with rotors,
Of course.
and this area can get some water too. I've seen some amazing, yeah.
is that with that or is that in addition to the roughly 8,000?
How much do we rotors gonna cost? Really, you take and replace it, so we're just giving I saw some amazing stuff, there's a little piece of grass here, and it is
I have 7 sprinkler heads. I mean.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No, I was
interrupt you.
gonna say, so what are we, clearly the neighborhood,
Yeah.
clearly residents have complained.
Right.
Clearly the board has addressed it in the past with other vendors and we still want to move forward and like Kevin said, we never said no to repairs at me. If we have a quote that's gonna be for the repairs, can we just go ahead and do it? We have budget. for it, we have-
Me personally, there's what I would say. Even if it costs, let's say, $50,000 to finish all your stuff, if you get in the Champagne beautiful, it's gonna cost you $10 a month extra. Whether we do it or not, it's simple.
You know, let's not forget that we opted we got a reserve study. The reserve study gave us X amount of dollars to get started. And then it gave us a very large number to catch up to, as if we had started on day one. And we as a group decided to fund it all with catch up. But that wasn't the absolute necessity, but we decided it was the best thing to do. And so I mean, that does exist, and it's not what it's for, but it certainly it could be what it's for.
Keep in mind, as he said, we just have 25K.
And we have,
And we never, obviously never used it, most of our past budget. Plus, we'd be fixing everything, so it should limit what we're gonna be spending the rest of the year. But
right,
the other thing to consider is there's technically if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to oak trees, the county has a requirement that they
Yeah.
have, once you find out once you find out they're dead, that you have 60 days to replace it?
Yeah, well, I have to check with the county because every county's different, but typically there's a landscape plan and you have to reinstall anything that was on the landscape plan as it was. So.
Well, they give you an
It might be caliper size, I don't know, it could be a 4-inch caliper size, it could be a 2-inch caliper size.
The ones that are required to be replaced, it's like oak trees, but palm trees, what the most developer do is chop in every corner, a lot of them. You can, like this one right here, we can chop it out, we don't have to replace it. Well, it's not
But
required.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, the oak tree, we have to
fix, yeah, we
The
have.
irrigation, we have to fix. So do we do half of it or do we go ahead?
Then you have, that's what the other thing is, so in this number I'm giving you here, it's including trimming all the trees, replacing some bushes. I didn't know they would be bringing it, but you guys can wait until next meeting for the trimming and stuff.
So just to Gary's suggestion, so, if the irrigation is roughly 8,000, you could move forward with that now, get that all staged and ready to go. Then you can talk about plantings, cuttings, and not have as much concern that, okay, we're going to put this stuff in at the same time. There might be issues. That might be the way to do it. The irrigation, probably not a lot of, we'll say decision-making, right? Because it is what it is.
Yeah,
When you talk about trees, plants, even trimming, there might be opinions you want to talk about. So again, so you have the dollars in the irrigation, the 25,000, you have $27,000 in miscellaneous contingency. And to Kevin's point, you have $93,000 just this year that's going to be contributed to your reserves. So I feel very comfortable saying, especially in month number 2 of your fiscal year, that not only do you have the dollars, but it gives us a chance to get off on a good foot, and we could monitor it to, if we have any concerns that, I don't know, big irrigation repairs, we have plenty of time to redirect things.
I would personally, I would support everything that was estimated for us to fix and landscaping, irrigation, strictly talking about irrigation at the moment. Everything is recommended to upgrade and fix our irrigation, replace sprinkler heads, whatever, for the right trees, to do it right. And to add what rotors or whatever, we can get a little bit of extra water back here so the hair stays green, as well as a few other things on that slope up front, so it stays green.
I'm in the country, yeah, he did send another estimate on what item is actually $3,500 for the irrigation.
We have to make sure.
Solenoid.
Is that the-
Oh, so they plug that or does that include everything?
All the irrigation stuff.
So all the irrigation is 3,500?
Yeah.
So I mean, I would recommend do a not, if somebody wants to make a motion, you probably do a motion to approve the irrigation repairs not to exceed, call it 4,000, you know, in case something comes up, and that would get you started. But again, up to you as a board.
I would say, though, let's add a few
I
for
think it's a broken here.
misting the front slope on that.
Sure.
I mean,
Rotor heads here, so I
My
don't
thing
think these things can be done on our
Do-
current infrastructure without much
do we
resource.
fix-
To get a little water flowing
See what
into those areas,
or.
because they're, yeah,
Well, I know, or.
most of the year, most of the season, it's not wet,
I don't have.
Yep.
With
It's
all
brown.
the. What's left, I
so.
mean, they're.
No, we're not talking about those, but like.
Yeah, but obviously.
You have trees that have normal sprinkler, has no bubble, that's a problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm saying on the other side of the wall. So as far as the grass, the hay, I mean, since it hasn't been getting
Any
water
water,
properly, do we just
So the best
first
way
go
to
with the drip line and see what it does?
yeah, we do the drip line, and that's what I told him, make sure drip line runs every single day for like at least an hour and a half. You go get more water, so the things will burn up a little bit. So yeah, we can go with this.
If that's 36, and we don't know if that includes improving
This is
something.
a little too heavy.
Want to go, well, we just want to go.
So let's do 5,000.
Yeah, that covers it.
So is
Yeah,
that a motion then?
Well,
yeah,
that's what, Ron's like, you just want.
Since we're discussing.
We know where the quote's gonna be, we know where it's gonna go.
Absolutely, I gotta be.
So we-
Strong.
So we have a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
Let's just, we'll kind of bite-sized pieces, right? So we have a motion on the floor to approve irrigation in an amount not to exceed $5,000.
they said 10.
They make it 10. Not to
10.
exceed 10.
Okay, you accept that amendment, Rabah?
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a second to that particular motion? Seconded by our newest board member. Any additional discussion on specifically that motion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes.
Gary?
We need to make sure that they put any warranty in their products, like, you know, whatever it is. I don't know, I'm not looking at it right now. But, you know, warranty. And then I need to, you know, arrange to do a walkthrough. So when everything's completed, I see everything's working.
Yeah.
And they're responsible because if there breaks, they're going to be broken because the edges are breaking them.
Yeah.
And other things like that, so.
So one more thing, too, they did give an estimate of $1,600 or $1,700 to ground all the controllers. There's no point in it. We could do it too. And the lighting is done Friday. So since I have the $10,000 limit, I can just put that one as well with them.
Yeah, and yeah, Gary can look at it. We'll make sure it has that warranty information. We should be good. The other landscaping items, if you want to
I'm forward to you.
forward them to me, I'll get them out to the board ahead of time, and then we'll have them in the next meeting package. My recommendation going forward, Gary's a hard worker. He's on the road all the time. I can print. I'm just, you know, I'm the office guy. So just send it to me and say, print this and bring it. And that goes for everybody on the board. If you have something you want to bring up at the meeting, shoot me an email. I'll print it. I'm happy to bring it and kind of organize it. So, okay.
Just real quick, I know that the landscape company putting in or paper, but there's no issue with including the 1,600 for grounding the irrigation.
Yeah, irrigation.
With that 10,000, right?
Yeah, no,
It's
no
all-
issue there.
all right.
Yep, all part and parcel. Okay, that takes us to aquatic manager. You had your monthly report with pictures and info. So this is more of just a double check if anybody has any items related to that report that you want us to get back with your contractor on. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to field manager. So obviously Gary's here. Gary, I didn't know if you had anything additional. I know landscaping's a big one, but if you had anything you wanted to report on today?
Basically, when I talk to the US account manager, I want to know everything that's wrong on the property. So if there's trees dead, if there's plants dead, what I'm asking him to do is give me estimates, and then I can have it given to the board, and it's in your best ballpark. So, you know, I went and I took a lot of pictures. Unfortunately, the files were too large and they never got to you last week, but I came back yesterday, retook the pictures, sent them to everyone. Hopefully you got them. You didn't get them? So yeah, I'll have to see what happens. It's something with my.
It's completely fine. So the rest of the landscaping stuff we can talk about next meeting.
I mean, they did go do some trimming in the entrance, because it's like a little, it looks nice. But yeah, we need to park some irrigation.
I mean, there's an invasive grass growing through a lot of plant material. So if the selective herbicide doesn't work, which is, it's iffy, you might have, if for it to look good, you might have to pull it out and replace the plants. And treat it specifically with.
They're gonna use, say whatever the name of it is, but take a couple treatments, she should take care of it.
Yeah.
It's,
Gary, as far as in your report for landscape, I see all the pushing and stuff, I'll just ask, it might be easier. So the back entrance, whatever. The meridian there is terrible, looks terrible. Everything's like dead in it and everything plants. Have you given an assessment on that?
Not yet, no.
okay.
I will.
Okay.
That would,
It's too, because of all the construction traffic came in on the sidewalk and them driving over the meeting. We
Not,
said,
not only that, that's where,
No, there was no water, I know.
Yeah, so-
But can you at least,
well, the irrigation's gonna be repaired.
but how about recommendations of what we can put there? Like, just that we start that.
I can-
And then also for the front, I understand we match Del Webb, the front flowers, they pay for it, whatever. Is there another option where maybe we can put something that's more there, or we don't have to, unless we have to match what they have on their side, and then.
did you guys something that?
I was gonna, yeah, I'm gonna speak to that a little bit.
Okay.
We've got that in process.
Okay, and then the last is the palm trees in the pool area, they look terrible.
No, they need to be
They
fertilized.
did fertilize them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
okay, but trim them,
It take a little time, but
can they be trimmed?
yes, it's, the estimate's all the way here, but we just.
And the other thing for perp appeal, I would either take out all the jasmine minima in those square areas where the tree beds are and just have it mulch,
Salt, yeah.
or come up with something different because it's a little sparse here, sparse there. It doesn't, the perp appeal is not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
so future meetings, discussions, and
Yeah.
we get the irrigation all squared away, and then we can start to replant and fix up.
Get the ideas together. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the attorney's report. I'll go ahead and give the floor over to Michelle.
Thanks. So, nice to meet you all in person finally. I don't really have anything specific to report on today. What? And, oh yeah, I'll give you something. I can keep going. Don't worry. Andy and I are working on the response to the records request that came through under your prior management and prior lawyer. There was an estimate in terms of responding to that request. And so, Andy from his side reviewed it again and came up with an estimate, and sent that to the owner. And so we're waiting on the response. I expected they will probably, question it again,
Well, just so you know, it's Williams Light.
okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me where the records
Yeah, yeah.
request comes from. It is part of being a public entity. These requests come through from time to time, and you
Right.
just have to respond.
On
It's-
that, for the record too, let me just note, that at the last meeting, there was a discussion about mediation being requested. At that time, there was an estimate from GMS and our former attorney, and it was on the order of 3,200 to go through all the email.
We're about the same.
And well, that's a point that I just want to make sure that the community is aware of. And so we were told at that last meeting, it's reflected in the minutes, that there was a request for mediation to avoid having, potential go to a lawsuit.
Yes.
And it was decided that Kai would also look into the same original request, take over that request and come up with their estimate. So what I am just pointing out for the record is that email just went out a couple days ago, and Kai's cost was around 3,700. It was more than the former cost. And so, like you said, we're waiting to hear what the resident has to say. But we as a board minus William need to discuss, are we going to go forward with mediation if she still doesn't accept the second estimate as a fair,
Sure. If you request, yes, it would be on her to request the mediation again.
So would she have to officially request it again, or did she not request it last time through Brian, Bryant?
She had requested it previously through your prior management company, and so the prior management company sent their estimate, and then she questioned the estimate and went through, honestly, the process I've not been through, but there's a mediation process for records requests through a state representative. Her name is Pat Gleason. She's sort of, I do know her as the guru of public records for the state of Florida. So she is, I think, a good person to be handling this. But in any event, when Kai took over, we wanted to take a second look to see if Kai had the same estimate in terms of the cost. I mean, if their cost was $500, we might not need to do this. But they have a similar cost. We do have an estimate for attorney's fees to do the review, and the cost may be less. I haven't seen the record, so I mean, I don't know the scope of what we're talking about. It could take me 3 hours. It could take me 1 hour. I don't know until I see it. But you have to do that estimate and be prepared for it to cost the full amount. So if she's not comfortable with it and she reiterates her request for mediation, I am a supporter of mediation. I think it's an effective way to avoid litigation costs, which in my role advising communities, one of my key things is to try to keep everybody out of litigation, because the cost of litigation will consume you. The cost of it, the time, the stress of it will consume. So if we can resolve this through mediation, I think that would be great. I'm guessing, since the number is similar and a little bit higher, that request will be reiterated. And what I think would be helpful is maybe if the board is willing and interested in doing this, you could designate one board member. Obviously not the conflicted member, sorry. You wouldn't be able to be the designate, but designate a board member who would participate in that mediation with me and Ms. Gleason and the requester.
So the other question is, if we go down that road, which clearly is not happening tonight, is that going to be a closed session for the rest of the board members with you, or going to be open to public like this?
So I don't know that we would qualify for a closed session at this point. There's very narrow circumstances where the board can meet in a closed session in a public entity, and there literally has to be active litigation. Now this is a mediation, so I can see if there's any nuance that would allow us to have a closed session, but I doubt it. So.
Doesn't hurt to try.
Okay,
But
since
you
it
would
hasn't
wanna-
been initiated a second request after Kai's submittal, we don't need to designate someone now, or we still could, in case it comes up
Good,
at
I mean-
the next meeting. Is that essentially what we're talking about here?
If you want to speed it up, you could designate somebody now, and I would be able to, I would communicate with that person and with Ms. Gleason as the mediator. And I will say it is an email mediation,
Oh,
which is not my favorite way of doing things, but it's something that the state likes to do.
What kind of mediation?
It's an email mediation. So you just email offers to the mediator. So it's never a Zoom or anything like that.
That one board member, what would their role be? And what can that board members really do on behalf of the board without a vote, without a motion, without anything? It's just someone there to represent the board. They would have, I don't say no power, but pretty much no power in the situation. They can't make a decision. They can't bind to a decision. So what's the?
plus they
what's
can
the-
make a decision on behalf of their money and their.
Yeah, exactly. So what is that person's role?
So, having not done a specific type of mediation, I'm speculating here, but I think what it would be communicating through the mediator to the requester and saying, how are there ways that we could reduce this cost? And the mediator would be asking us, why do you think it will cost this much? And our thought, might be, well, can we narrow the request so that we avoid some of the expenses that we're anticipating? And, we need somebody from the board who can kind of speak a little bit do the records and what they're. With the record.
So you and Kai would have to be involved in that mediation because you're the ones who provided those estimates.
Absolutely.
So would that be covered under the regular cost of what we have you on the employed for? Or, I mean, for you, it would just be what extra hours you bill
Yes.
for that process? And I assume you keep track of those sorts of things individually. So at the end of the year, for example, if we wanted to know how much we spend on litigation, that would be available. Not litigation, but mediation, defense, all of these sorts of things. You categorize your billings or at least summarize them in some way that we'd be able to know what cost was associated with this, that the community has to bear.
We can do that. I mean, we can create separate matters for different circumstances. Typically, we bill under a general file, and then if there's a litigation matter or something like that, we create a separate matter and bill under that. And so we can do that.
I mean, I just like,
That would be-
when insurance premiums go up, you know, and other things, people want to know why why is the lawyer bill so high? I think it's helpful and justified for the community to know, well, the lawyer bill's so high because of this mediation and this lawsuit and these sorts of things that are outside of what we would normally use your services for.
Sure, those things definitely add to the cost, which is why I kind of said before, we want to try to stay away from litigation,
Right.
because that's where you'll really hit bigger numbers in terms of your legal fees.
Right, so
But
for,
these, I would, be prepared that, you've had a lot of records requests. They come all the time. Sometimes you're expecting them, sometimes they come out of the blue. And if you're prepared for it from a board perspective in terms of limiting your communication about, district business, to, your emails that you have as designated board emails. If you limit your text messages about those things, if somebody says, I need all your text messages about business, well, I don't have any because I don't use my phone for that purpose. And so if you limit your communications about board business to these meetings and your board designated email, so that if somebody wants your email,
I think this is because of security information in the emails about, what was it like? About
Cameras,
the
security.
camera, security,
that's
that's,
the reason for the
that's-
review and redaction.
yeah.
You know,
So basically, this is the end of it, like, a board member is gonna go there, he have no idea what's in the emails. And they're gonna ask this guy, like, well, you charge him this much because this guy, they don't do work for free. Then that's how much they're gonna charge him. It's waste of money, let's do it, let's do it.
So Andy, is your time on that something that's part of the community business? Just that we're already
Yeah,
doing
I
before?
mean, unless it's extraneous, which I wouldn't think it would be, yeah, that's normal duties. If, we only charge extra if we had to go to a court case and spend, I don't know, a day sitting in court or something like that. So
So what do we wait on? We're just waiting on the resident to move forward with,
So
Okay.
two things, potentially the resident comes back with another request for mediation, but preliminary to that, the board might want to designate somebody that if that does happen, we've got somebody in place to be involved with the mediation, which as mentioned, might not be anything, the person can't really make a decision, it's a representative.
I motion to have Ron do that, because he mentioned last time he was
I'll
willing
do
to do
it,
so.
absolutely.
I'm still willing.
Devin,
Okay, do we have
I motion-
a second?
Robert,
I second that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Any additional discussion?
One more thing.
Sure.
Since like this is getting even funnier, can we make sure to receive, be the board notified moving forward for anybody that sends any, FOIA requests? So everybody's gonna be on the same page, So we need to know, like, if somebody requesting records, we need to be notified.
So when that happens, I'll forward the request to the board, BCC everybody, so no sunshine law issues can happen. And obviously you can still respond to me directly, individually, if you have questions, but that's not a problem at all.
Sure. That's good.
All right, all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries. Anything else? Michelle?
that's it for me.
The only thing I would ask you about, Michelle, is just know that I'm still waiting for some follow-up regarding the next step we take with the residents that were fined for amenity center violations.
So you have, right, so you have residents who have active fines.
Mhm.
They have not paid the fines.
And, right, besides the initial notification sent by GMS or by our attorney, there's never been any follow-up yet
How
of any
many,
sort.
how many people were we talking about?
Four,
Four people, and how much were the fines?
$1,000 each of them.
Okay, and they're still in violation?
They have no amenity center access. Some of them have moved away. Their access isn't restored because they didn't pay fines. So I don't know the status of any of them. I just know that we've been trying to figure out the course of action to follow up. And then we had to switch over, so,
So if they've moved away,
not the landlord.
what?
There's a landlord didn't.
So the homeowner of three of the four was renters. And one was a resident who still lives there, as far as I know.
And the renters have moved away.
I don't know that. I don't know the status of all of them. I just know, I know of at least one of them that through some other issue that I heard the family wasn't living here anymore. But, you know, I can't, I don't specifically know what any of their status is, but, the fine goes to the landlord, right? The owner of the house.
So have the violations, are those ongoing? So you find them for a violation of doing something wrong.
Correct.
Okay, so whatever they did wrong.
They were
is that-
suspended and fined and they're, so.
Was it an incident?
A
lot of
not incident. You're talking of a rap sheet of incidents.
Ones that were doing things at the pool. and
Yeah.
they were supposed to be doing-
Just on, all the time, just constantly. You know, like I said, multiple. That's why the maximum fines allowable, and as we were advised by our attorney, were assessed unanimously by the entire board on these four
And
cases.
they were given a chance to come and defend.
Yeah,
Actually, somebody
public
came, one of them came.
So you have four people that were fined
Correct,
for improper activities at the pool.
Yeah.
And they have not paid the fine.
correct.
And they are currently suspended from using
Mhm.
the facilities,
Mhm.
and they may or may not still live here. So, you can keep your fine in place, or your suspension in place until the fines are paid. You can do that. That would be it. Your only other option is to file a small claims action, and that'll cost you more than it's worth. So I wouldn't do that.
What about collection?
Collection is a lawsuit.
So
So I-
simply said, if we find someone
There's
and
no
they
change
just
to it. What's
say, I'm not paying it, it just goes away.
I mean, I think.
I mean, you just stop them from using the
I was
facilities.
gonna say
That's
that
the
the
only
real
thing.
penalty is stopping them from using the facilities, which doesn't help you if a renter moves out, but
Yeah.
it is, I mean, if you want to look at it from a financial perspective, somebody that is no longer allowed to use something that they're a certain percentage of their assessment, there indirectly is a financial impact to them.
But let's also, let me make this clear. You clarify it for me. The next person that owner takes on as renters, are we not obligated to allow that landlord to have his access turned back on for the new people?
Let's cross that bridge when I mean, you could deny them access until the landlord,
Pays the
owner of the
fine.
property pays the fine. I mean, you could say.
I mean, because the way it works right now, the way the system works, okay, the way our rules work is that a landlord a homeowner who then takes on renters, the homeowner no longer has access fobs. They become invalid.
Sure.
And it's just the renter who has the valid access. And they have it on a literal time frame in our system of their lease. So it turns on and shuts off automatically. Nobody has to go in and do anything because they have to provide the lease before they can get the access card. So if they do leave or that time period is up and they don't renew it, there's no access. And so if the landlord sought to, the homeowner sought to have their access turned back on, it would be available to Kai when they go into the system to see that this person is suspended for, and has a violation, unpaid.
I think it stays with the landlord, basically, is what it comes down to, much like, the tax bill technically stays with the landlord. So I think you guys are in good shape in that regard. Unfortunately, the aspect of collecting might not be an option, but you have ways of penalizing, we'll say.
Is your, was there a concern that the landlord was not being supportive of
It's a
ensuring that the tenants were?
We never heard from them.
kind of
in cases.
corporations,
Oh, it's
Investors.
investors.
Investors, from California or New York, bought up these homes because in this zip code, they get a premium. If they rent through, if they do a section 8, they get a premium, a large one in this zip code compared to even just surrounding ones. And yet these prices are very competitive for these houses.
Sure.
So a lot of investors have bought houses here and they can rent like a 4 or 5 bedroom for like $4,500, where only, they can rent it for $4,500 and the government's paying $3,700 of that in our zip code. And so this place was heavily invested in. Yeah, it's a cash cow for investors. And so I'm not talking about people that live here and really care what goes on here.
Yeah.
As the landlords in those cases, apparently, because we never heard from them.
But one of the reasons we went above and beyond suspending the account was because people were still gaining access. So they were piggybacking behind people or asking people to open, or some people were propping the stuff.
Ones that are letting them in, you suspend them too.
We do.
You'll have nobody in them.
So it's just
the signs on the door saying do not let people in, because one time I was chasing through videos trying to find out how a certain person got in that was smoking weed at 8 p.m. And I traced back through about 15 different door openers to get back to the first person who actually used a card. So someone used a card and let someone in. By chain reaction, people let people in. 50 people were in here without ever using a card. And so that doesn't happen much anymore either, because it was cracked down on.
Yeah.
But I've noticed
Know that because
that door is being propped open.
that is their cost, right? If your owners are letting people in and they're vandalizing your property, your owners are gonna pay more money because you have to keep fixing stuff.
You know, but you have to catch them, and obviously it's been proven tonight that if we do catch them, identify them and find them, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if your owners are letting all these people in and those people are damaging things and ruining things, your owners who live here are going to bear the cost of repairing all of that. And that's the incentive not to let people in who don't belong. The fines are, fines are not the only way to enforce your rules. And frankly, I think it's probably not the best route.
But it's not at this point knowing that we would have to sue to enforce.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but,
I would just say the board unanimously disagreed with your assessment. It was a long road to get to that point where we had some hearings. Most of the people that came to hearings were not fined. Their privileges were restored. In few very serious cases, these 4, the board spent hours discussing, going through the laundry list of issues, the liability, all of the things that happened that could have cost us a fortune, and made the decision as a group unanimously, based on the council's advice that we had this ability and what range that we could, the council was there, and we did that. So
when we
And
come,
that helps solve the problem.
we don't have that problem anymore.
The fines on.
Well, people were talking a lot about $1,000 fines. They didn't realize that not everyone realized that was for the most egregious violations. People were saying, hey, I'm not gonna let someone in and get fined $1,000. There was a false equivalency there, but word got around that there was some heavy fines assessed for this ridiculous behavior. And people have said that this is a good place to go now again.
Don't tell anybody about the fines. This is a closed circle. Okay? We're all gonna pretend that fines are investing. Listen, you guys are there are ways to resolve all of these problems. And listen, if you want to sue for the fines, you can. You can do that and recover the cost from the owner. It just may cost you more.
that's not what what pissed me off, to be honest, it's the waste of money for the cameras, the time with the lawyers, back and forth, and it seems like another joke too.
There you go, another vendor, another.
All right,
Yeah, it all adds up. For
Yeah.
sure.
all right, let's keep moving.
Okay,
That's what they meant.
all right, so we'll move into business matters. The first thing we have, you may recall from the last meeting, we tabled some of the meeting minutes. So there are the three from the last meeting as well as the newer meeting minutes, which are of the last meeting, October 2nd. I did receive some edits to the September 18th meeting minutes. I can distribute that out to everybody, a couple minor edits to that from our.
September 18th is which one now? Because I sent you 3.
Oh, you sent me three. Okay,
Three
I apologize.
separate.
You probably sent me three separate. I was just looking at the September 18th.
Before I forget, since we're the lawyer matter, I'm also hoping I'm gonna have a policy. Remember talking about the policy? But, how we gonna proceed moving forward from people using board members for wrong things?
So you could have a public comment policy. So when you talk about accusing board members of wrong things.
Yeah,
So
like-
obviously, nobody has the right to make false statements about you or anybody else. That's defamation.
Okay.
But they do have, all of your owners here, have the right to comment about board business and decisions and they may disagree with you. And they may not be very nice about their disagreements. But that's part of being in the public, in this sort of public field, is that, you have to be subject to a little bit of criticism. So, you can limit the speaker time to 3 minutes, and speakers should be speaking on board business. And we can, cut off microphones, and we can remove people if they're being, uncooperative or offensive, or speaking about things that are not part of the agenda. You can always ask people to leave. You can have law enforcement if that's continuing to be an issue. If you feel like somebody is defaming you, making false statements about you, those are usually personal actions. And you would need to look at whether or not, you need to have your own counsel for that.
Even though it's, you have some defamation, have something to do with, the district business.
Yeah, that would be, we would have to look at those situations as they arise.
Okay.
Those are very fact specific, as to
No,
what the allegation is about, what the foundation for it is, where it was said, when it was said, to whom. So those are very fact specific. There may be times when the district will need to represent you, and there may be times when it's something that you need to handle.
Makes sense. All right.
So there were 3 sets of minutes with some edits. Certainly, I'm going to circulate them to everybody now that they are part of the public record. We're in our meeting. If you choose, you can approve the minutes, those 3, as well as the October this evening as amended. Or if you want to wait to review those edits, you certainly can do that for those 3, and we can just have them on the next agenda. Entirely up to you as a board. But we'll deal with those 3 first. If anybody would like to make a motion either to approve them as amended or to table them to the next meeting, and that's August 6th, September 4th, September 8th.
Plus the last one that you sent, that you wrote.
I was going to do that one separately.
Okay. I just don't remember the dates in my head. So you're
Oh, yeah.
referring to the 3 that were originally drafted by GMS.
Correct,
Okay.
yes. So we're only talking about those right now, and then we'll talk about the minutes that
Right. So you said you were going to hand them out to see if the board agrees on the as amended?
Yeah, so I don't have the prints of them, and that's why I was saying I can email it out to everybody that way if folks wanted to table it to the next meeting. I just wanted it to be obviously presented in the public, that way I can share your thoughts and opinions on the amendments to the meeting minutes.
My only question would be, and ask counsel, I guess. How is that any different than sort of coordinating outside a meeting? if you provide those, and then they can look at them and get back to you with what their thoughts are on suggested.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, but I wasn't suggesting that. My suggestion was if folks wanted to look at it first, so your meeting minutes are now part of, or your amendments are part of this meeting. They're public. Everybody gets a chance to look at it, and then we all come back next month and folks say, yeah, I agree with that, make a motion to approve.
Makes sense. Okay, got it.
So would everybody like me to just bring those three back and I'll email it out to everybody to review? Or you can accept them today as amended, entirely up to you.
I mean, it doesn't matter, to be honest. Doesn't really matter.
Generally speaking, folks that provide meeting minute adjustments, it usually doesn't make meeting minutes fail. It's just a person's reflection of what they would like to see in the minutes based on what their recollection was.
Because if we continue going like this, there's a lot of those minutes going to be newspaper. So it just, I'm just saying.
The minutes, as mentioned last meeting, I'm going to work so we get these towards action items and motions. So we always have the recordings. So that's we'll work towards that together.
I will say the ones you provided has an excellent level of detail.
Okay.
We're not talking about that one yet. We're talking about the other. Yeah, no. Good.
So what's the board's pleasure with the previous three meeting minutes?
So you got some input from people specifically already.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I guess the question is, do we want to accept them as amended with all the amendments that people suggested, or do we all want to get a copy of it
Just accept it.
and talk about it next week? Next month.
Me personally, I have nothing to hide. I don't really care, to be honest. They can be posted anyway. I don't.
So we motion to accept the amended minutes and move on.
That's
We
what
vote
you're
on it.
I don't have
That is that a
Yeah.
motion then?
I will motion to accept the amended minutes with our comments people provided
And specifically, that's for August 6th, September 4th, and September 18th. Do we have a second to that motion?
That's second.
Okay. And any additional discussion on those three meeting minutes?
No.
Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, so October 2nd, and yes, it has a lot of detail, probably more than I personally would want, but I get it.
I found it perfectly accurate as well. The only thing that I thought at the very, very last motion was apparently made by Ms. Gagne and Ms. Gagne and Ms. Agabi. And
I
Maybe
apologize.
just change the gender, that should be fine. Just change the gender.
We will get that amended.
Let's just make sure you didn't change
during the meeting.
Just accept it.
Yeah. We get into this more these days.
Other than that, I'm good.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept those as amended?
I motion that.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Now, to be fair, the person transcribing probably has no way of knowing it except for my voice, so I don't know.
Especially with my weird name.
Hey, all right,
No, but
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Item B, housekeeping item. We had the US Lawns Agreement, which went back and forth, a couple of changes, but ultimately we are looking for a motion to ratify that agreement for exterior landscape and irrigation maintenance, if anybody would like to make that motion. Okay, do we have a second?
Aye. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. So, just a couple other brief items, that I wanted to bring up to the board. The one item is we talked about well, I didn't talk about it, I wasn't here, but during the presentation to you, they talked about placing, QR codes locally so that your residents can get information, get in touch with Kai, that sort of thing. So just wanted to kind of get the group together and say, where's a good spot to put them, and we'll get it implemented.
Say mailbox, the entrance of.
Mailbox.
Yeah, mailbox, the entrance of the amenity center. I think that's the best spot.
The doors, maybe somewhere near the pool bathroom or something, in case someone has a comment or question when they go to the bathroom.
Dog park maybe.
dog park, you know.
That's the commentary.
That's it, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We'll get that taken care of, and if we decide it needs to be someplace else, we can.
Yeah, sure.
Always adjust. The other item I had was I had sent out to the board the dog park. It's an updated dog, as I understand it. You guys had a quote previously for the dog park gate access, and it was more expensive because at the time, the technology they were using involved running wires, trenching, that sort of stuff. So as I understand it, again, I wasn't here, but this is a slightly less expensive quote. It involves solar. So this is just for your edification. I mean, obviously, you don't have to take action or anything like that, but I wanted to get it out to you.
No, we appreciate that.
And, you know, if obviously, if there's any action questions, I'm happy to.
To be honest, is it this one that for $70,000?
Yes.
It's not even worth it. For somebody that comes from Delaware once in a while for his dog to go over there, because gardens.
Are they driving over here or
I don't
walking?
know.
Because I would imagine if they're walking over here, their dog's probably not making it this far.
Yeah.
They leave it all they want.
Okay, so I'm getting a general consensus.
You're not
for
with
this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the idea that we might do something was when it was thought that it could just be some sort of simple roll of three-wheel kind of
Yeah.
lock. And we could give that code to the residents, not like whole electronic card thing, whatever.
Okay, so do you want me to go down that path then?
Yeah, it would be way cheaper, you know,
I
the
mean-
combination ones. Like,
Yeah, that's what we wanted
members.
to look at originally, and then we were told, well, you have to replace the whole gate to do that, because they couldn't find like a lock that they could put
Yeah.
on it. But
So-
even replacing the gate with a spin lock on is not gonna be $7,000.
I know Gary, this is right in his wheelhouse, because we just went through similar conversations at a community right up the road, so we can look into that, see what your options are. And yes, it will be less than 7,000.
How frequent is this issue?
It got reported
No,
one
nobody
time,
knows.
2 times. You know how it goes in this community. See one times and it's gonna be a big deal, then everybody forgot about it now.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do it, to be honest with you?
Unless you're gonna do a DNA analysis.
It's
on
currently
the
broken.
dog.
The gate is currently broken and not locking or closing at all,
Okay.
and we were going to hold on fixing it or looking into it until we wrapped in this discussion about fixing it correctly.
Yeah.
So the gate still needs to be fixed because it just swings open and dogs can't be running out through the neighborhood.
So we can look to get it latched, and as well as part of that process, here's what it would be if you put some sort of a code on it or whatever.
That's enough. Yeah.
Easy enough. So the other item, which is 2 items sort of combined, because it deals with Del Webb. We have, as I understand it, your front entrance on the one corner, flowers, Del Webb handles, the other corner, you district handles. So we've reached out, we haven't heard back yet, but I did want to let you know, we've reached out to their management company. We also reached out to them regarding signage that I understand they're placing on district property. So, and interestingly enough, we did have a response from the developer, the builder, and they were, so I figured I'd ask, they were under the impression that they might have some sort of an agreement with the district that they pay. I didn't see anything.
So
No.
Which part?
Flowers.
Second.
Which part? So the
Signs?
flowers, they get,
Signs, I'm sorry, specifically signs.
that we're not aware.
Okay.
So they need to produce that.
So let me, because this is important. So number one, obviously, we can tell them we don't have anything. Please remove your sign from our property. That's an easy one, right? Secondarily, entirely up to you.
Charge them.
We can charge them.
Oh, yeah.
We did this with the same exact, literally the same person that I'm talking to. We set up an agreement in Pasco County where they paid the district to have the signs up, and it honestly. it was
But just
pretty-
to mention though, if we're gonna go that route, it doesn't hurt to consider back charging since they have the turnover.
So I would recommend, if that's an option, that we work that into the discussion. Yes, we may be interested in that, but by the way, we expect that it goes back for
Yeah.
the amount of time.
Yeah,
Well, so they put signs on the property, but they also pay for the flowers. So is the agreement that we are giving you money for the flowers and that's what the signs are there, you know?
No, that's
look-
only flowers.
Well, actually, I would say no, because that's
Yeah.
not even enough for the flowers. But I have a feeling this goes back to Rosetta and the developer
Sure,
being
yeah,
on
yeah, just-
this board and coordinating those things and Rosetta never providing that information.
We're talking about this specific topic, to be honest with you, that entrance, for them, it's a second entrance, for us, it's the main entrance. So we have to be the ones that put the flowers, not them. This is how I would negotiate with them. Though I'm not, we gonna do it, they're gonna pay us to do the entire thing. We pay for our portion and they pay for their portion. If they don't want that, to be honest with you, a palm tree right there, and a couple of rocks and be done with it. I'm not having a headache with it, or we can always sod it, put the grass on it and be done with it.
Okay. Is everybody general consensus?
Because then if, I mean, obviously it seemed like an easy thing, right? Have them do the flowers on both sides, but now we've got their landscapers on our property. Is it?
It's the same thing both ways.
So those flowers.
Ours is on their property.
So the flowers over there, the water they're getting from, it's not their water, it's our irrigation actually. It's our,
On their side?
yeah, on their side, yeah.
How, is it just there, or does it go all the way down?
No, it's just flower bed.
Flower bed?
Yeah, but it's not a big deal, as I said. But, yeah, either we gonna do it, they pay us for their portion, or we don't want nothing with them and just have a lot of things our way.
That's easy enough as far as direction. And what I'll do is as soon as we hear back, I'll email out the board on both of these accounts. And if we have some sort of agreement that needs to be drafted, then we can come back and talk about it at the next meeting.
I'll just mention one thing regarding the whole sign thing, and that's by way of background for people in the community that are aware of what precipitated this. During one of our meetings, our amenity center manager announced to the board, and from GMS, that he had received a letter from Webb asking him to email blast all of Isles of Bayview and let them know that the residents here are not welcome to walk through their community. And we said, oh, okay. And then someone on the board said, well, isn't there sign on our wall? And the board said, you know what? Let them pay for having the sign up then. I mean, if we can't walk through their community, they're welcome to do so, officially asked, then why should we be advertising their properties on our wall? And sure, the board decided that we would ask that be removed unanimously, and it disappeared, but now there's a new sign up there, so, okay.
Sure, I think,
Easy.
hasn't it been there the whole time? Wasn't there a second sign? Yeah, I was gonna say, there was a second sign. That I think they took down. This is like a real big,
I just know the
One of
letter
those,
there now is advertising another Webb community that's not even this Webb.
yeah, there's one that, what is it? 10, 15 feet down the,
wall.
yeah, it's like one of those, almost like flag type, vinyl.
So we'll talk about this. I just wanted to note for the board, I don't know if all of you are aware, but basically our contract is for 2 hours and then we start charging for each additional. So we're moving good. I just wanted to make you aware and I'll keep plugging along here. So the next item that I had was related to the amenity center violation. From my perspective, I found out, and I believe everybody got an email today, and I also reached out to everybody. So this was something that was approved by your previous management company. It appears that you guys weren't notified by your previous management company. So, you have no way of knowing, obviously, if you aren't told. So to me, it's the violation aspect isn't a violation aspect, because even if they were given permission incorrectly, it's not necessarily their fault, of course. However, this is something that it brings up a good talking point to me as the new guy, that I don't want to overstep my bounds on these sort of things. So I'm just looking to you as a board for direction from an authority perspective. I am happy when things like this come up to either bring it back to the full board to confer with the chair. Just wanted to see what your thoughts are.
So this is, that's a good point. So we do have an amenity center contract with you guys. The previous company, the amenity center manager, he was the one, the point of contact. I have to be honest with you, the lady that she said,
Monica?
never get back. A
Okay.
couple of emails, never get back. I don't know if somebody else emailed her or something like that. I don't know. But,
Okay.
yeah, that's why I
Yeah,
followed
on
with
the
that
last
email,
one,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
So we need to have a person to, so again, I'm not trying to be picky or something like that, but if this role is not in place, what's the
Yeah.
point of us paying for it?
So and Monica is in place. I know she's been out the past 3 days. And, you know, regardless, we can have a backup and I'm involved. I can help out with that. She's been mostly taking a lot of requests, of course, for reservations as well as for key fobs, that sort of thing. I haven't seen any hiccups from that perspective. I do understand, and I saw your email there. So we'll just make sure that, you know, one, if she's out, we have the backup.
And usually it's the community, Mediation Center manager, the one who's responsible for the cameras as well too.
Okay.
If anything, we go back to him, they can
Yep.
check and stuff like that.
And that's one of the things that, you know, I've talked to her about. And so, for example, when somebody rents a facility, she goes and looks afterwards to make sure that there's no issues left. So she's very aware of that.
That's, I just wanted to clear out.
And the benefit is, additional benefit is she has worked with Complete IT in the past, as well as the Brevo system and the camera system. So
That's good.
she honestly, she maneuvers through it better than I would. So
That's completely fine. But when it comes, before I forget, if you guys can get a key fob for the landscapers for the,
oh, yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
that would be really cool. The other thing is when it comes to that specific violation, the gentleman, I appreciate him changing the flag, but the thing is, the four of us here, if I'm wrong, correct me, I think it was because of him, we have the volunteer policy. And we're spending $1,000 extra a month for our insurance. And we decided and talked during a couple of meetings that there's gonna be a waiver to sign to do anything in the amenity center.
Okay.
And the gentleman didn't do nothing. So I don't know. I'm not leaning toward finding him or something, but he touched something without our permission, without any waivers. So it's fine.
Yeah, no, if I can weigh, and I really think, at least in that circumstance, it's the responsibility of your management company to collect that waiver. I mean, you know, again, even if the resident knew, it's still the responsibility of me or whoever the manager is to say, okay, I've got the waiver, we're good.
I get it, but we just want to make sure now, like moving forward, how you guys want to do it. Are we going to eliminate this volunteering thing, nobody touches nothing, or you going to keep it in place? What is it?
Right, yeah, I mean, honestly, that's my only concern. I mean, I applaud the initiative and the investment in replacing the flag. But there was this specific exact resident who came here at one time and volunteered to power wash the furniture. And we were all very pleased with the idea because we were having a hard time with our vendors, you know, keeping things clean back there. But the discussion and council advised that we would need to have insurance for any volunteer work. And we said, let's expand that discussion. We had a whole meeting where we discussed it to other volunteer work, people that maybe want to do some landscaping or paint a fence or whatever. Insurance company, I mean, this doesn't happen overnight, right? So multiple meetings, the insurance company finally weighed in, finally provided some guidelines with council, developed a waiver form. This waiver form in this policy doesn't say if it's only a $10 thing, you don't have to do it. Sure. It is what it is. And it's because of this gentleman that this whole process was developed so that we could have volunteers to do it, protect the community from any liability. And so it's just odd to see this person who knows very well, just, you know, go ahead and do that. But understandably, he was told to do so by GMS. I think they made a mistake in not following our procedures and just following our procedures that they were involved in planning.
So are we keeping the policy?
Well, I was gonna say, do we know, is, and if not, can we put that volunteer waiver on the website? So that way anybody can access it.
It would be really appreciated to send an e-blast, do not touch CDD property without board approval, which comes to the waiver. And also, if you can do me a favor, I'm glad that it has to be copied with the landscaper emails. There is a homeowner reached out to the landscapers directly, ordering them to do things. Please have it in the email that homeowners do not reach out to vendors. That's why we have management company.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, they were met. The tone in the email was ordering.
So
Only other thing I want to bring up on this particular issue, and again, maybe there's some money threshold, but I don't think it was appropriate for GMS to accept a donation of anything, whether it's 99 cents or $30 or 300 or 3,000, and I don't think that is what can be done unless we authorize our management company to accept things on the district's behalf. And sure, it's a flag. Again, I applaud that the flag was placed. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because now here you are moving forward. Let's just make sure it's clear what direction we have for you in the future.
Yeah.
And so if someone wants to offer something and talks to Andy like, hey, I want to give you guys a new this or a new that, should he just be able to accept it on our behalf?
I would prefer to bring it back to you. as
Yeah.
a board.
That's what it is.
There should be no alterations to your property and no donations to your district unless it's approved by the.
There you go. Simple as
Easy
that.
enough?
Very
Simple.
Okay,
Should we, I motion to retroactively accept the flag donation and thank Alan for installing it, and we are all on the same page moving forward as to how these things will be handled.
Agreed.
okay, do we have a second to that motion?
I second.
Seconded. Any additional discussion?
That's it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, carries. So the next item, 6C, was the full pool fob request letter. Obviously, we had some suggestions earlier from Mr. Casement, good suggestions to update, make sure it accurately reflects what's in your policies and procedures. This more or less, I just didn't want to create a district document without your thoughts. It's relatively standard what we see, obviously a little bit more specific to your district, but it's what we use elsewhere. So just wanted to get your thoughts, and if you are okay with it, with those edits, we're just looking for a motion to approve that.
With the pool fob request. The pool fob request is just a link on the website, right? The way you go and you put in information.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about like the pool rules or?
No, this was page 111 in there. Basically, it looks like they just have like a kind of almost like a cover letter to send out.
Yeah,
Stuff.
essentially.
Highlight.
If you already had a fob, we on the board got. one.
Yeah, essentially, it's a communication that's going to your residents. They're going to look at it as coming from you, even though it's coming from us. They're going to see it as a
I mean.
It just figured to run it by you. That's all.
And then
109, you said?
111. So it would be changing the time in two places. So Monday to Sunday, open dawn to dusk,
At
and
the
then that
age.
last bullet
Yep.
would
And
be dusk.
and I think it was under 16, if I remember correctly.
What is that?
Yeah.
I see, okay, this is what comments were from before.
For me, I thought you said 18. I was like,
Okay,
we can.
so yeah, I understand, I'm sorry for confusion, I confused that. So I don't know, did I miss anything, anyone make a motion?
No.
So I motion to accept the resident comments to make these adjustments, they're all correct adjustments.
Just some suggestions from council. I'm sorry.
All right.
Sure.
Sorry, yeah,
I retract.
your, the amenity center rules related to supervision of children under whatever the age is, 14 or 16. There's, believe it or not, the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination against families with children. And there has been litigation literally over swimming pools requiring supervision of children of a certain age. So to circumvent that, I use different language and we use the term inexperienced swimmers, which may include children under the age of 16. But it's not a big deal, but I would not change it to children under the age of 16.
So we were advised by attorney about this and about, because we had it on a lower age before, and was advised about the concerns and the liability for having, I've been here before on the call that someone jumped the fence. Someone jumped the fence, so I come down, with cameras and whatever, and there's a bunch of little kids playing in the pool, and dad's in his car just smoking a blunt, there's concern for liability there.
Yeah, that's what I'm not suggesting that we're gonna let babies swim alone.
No, but what I'm saying is, so then this is concrete, but how would you then review the video and say, yeah, that doesn't look like an experienced swimmer, but that one does, so he should be okay, and that one should get hit? That seems very bizarre to me.
I 100% agree. but I will tell you that the state of Florida has pursued a lawsuit against a community for having a pool rule requiring supervision of children under the age of 16.
Did they win the lawsuit? I mean, you can sue for anything. I've seen that.
I think it ultimately settled, it's my recollection, it was a couple of years ago, but they pushed it very hard.
So are we as a board more concerned with having little kids swimming without adult supervision? Or someone's gonna sue us for that?
This is really a semantics issue. It's a wording on your document. It's not saying that you're going to allow.
So you're gonna change the wording or you'll come in? All right.
Okay, but
Yes.
so you're saying the wording would not include an age? It's just gonna.
No, it was she'll
Not
say,
include the specific. Well, let me, yeah.
All right, we got it.
originally from the developer, it was 12. And so with the previous attorney, it was discussed and was okay with 16. So,
Yeah,
but there was talk of,
the Attorney General of the state of Florida
Right.
pursued a lawsuit for a pool rule.
So can you repeat to me what you would have it say?
I usually use the term inexperienced swimmers. I just need to work on it because you have a small area there. It ends up being a long sentence because lawyers are wordy,
Okay,
but it's
so
inexperienced swimmers, like,
well, the thing is, this is like their snapshot of it. We still have the official policy on the website that probably is wordier. So I would assume we would need to change that as well, because that's the official policy that the board adopted last year. Yeah, a year ago.
It's not an urgent issue. People are used to seeing that wording. I just.
Sure. All right, then I just want a motion to accept Mr. Casement's adjustments to that document as well for consistency, and then before reissuing it or whatever, at the council's recommendation as well.
I second that.
Okay, and any additional discussion? Hearing none,
think so.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's see.
So we have the community events yet?
We are just about there, yes. So we can go right into that actually, or let's just one more, the
Go ahead.
financial report, and then we'll be in supervisory requests. We can talk about community events and all that stuff. So financial reports, we have consideration for acceptance, the unaudited September 2025 financials, include your general ledger. As far as including the invoices, certainly can do that. Some boards like them, some
We always
boards.
did, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we'll keep it consistent. No issue with that. So we're just looking, yes, sir.
Since that's the case, Martin, he said he have experience. Now, would you take the role of checking those invoices before every meeting?
I can do that.
All right, so should we put a motion to it?
We didn't motion for the last duties. We
we're setting it up. No motion?
I mean, unless some, I always look at it, unless somebody disagrees, then we push it to a vote, but if.
Yeah.
All right, then,
You put that in the minutes and it was, succinct and
all
perfect.
right, then Martin is responsible of checking, make sure you check.
And we all generally look through all the stuff,
Okay.
but, put a little bit
yes,
extra eye on
somebody's-
it. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So if you're prepared, we're looking for a motion to approve and accept the financials from September 2025.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Right. We still didn't hear back from the $1,000 repair that they didn't repair? No, yeah, of course. I mean, it's not even worth it to chase them anymore, so.
Yeah,
just.
we're not paying it though. We didn't pay it. Oh, we
Maybe
already
it's
paid it?
already paid. I think it's paid.
I believe it is.
Oh, you already paid it.
Yeah. It's fine, it's fine. Things
I,
happen.
So we'll move into supervisory
Yeah.
requests. We had some
Yeah.
events requested.
I'll make it real brief.
Some stuff in my mind before I forget
Go
about
ahead.
this. So, because we know this is gonna be talking about a little bit, I would like you guys to start getting, estimates for replacing the floor. It's by the time of year, people are not, using
That's
the
right.
pool.
Yeah.
So this is the time to do the floors. You guys are worried about it or not?
We
So
got
we did-
like
We
50.
did get 60K from the builder
Right.
to.
To replace
You're
the
right,
wall.
you're right.
It was 60
Yeah.
to replace the floor, here in the amenity
Down
center.
there, yeah.
Because
Okay.
it's slippery. We did get, the previous company did get various, estimates. The highest one was 60. That's what we get from the builder
Okay.
and the developer.
Huh?
Are they pavers?
Right now, it's,
Epoxy.
yeah, it's epoxy concrete, but we're looking for something.
Wait a second. So this one, the epoxy they have here now, they quoted it with a sealer. The sealer causes the slippery. So we have two options. I tried, I mean, you guys can double check if there's a piece of this, the floor open, there's no sealer on it. It doesn't slip. It doesn't. You have two options. Either you're gonna hire a pressure washer company to or rough sand it up maybe, which is gonna be the cheapest way to do it. Or you're gonna have to hire another company to put another epoxy on it, which is not slippery. Which, so it's up to you guys now. Just trying to think to save money.
Can they put sand in it, like a brick?
No, there is, I mean, if you look at it there, you can see where something is in it, but it's still, when it's wet, people just go
Yeah,
down.
worst case scenario is gonna be sanded and put another coat of epoxy that doesn't slip.
So we can look to get some quotes on it. And
Yeah, and basically this is the time because we cannot do it in the summertime.
Yeah.
The pool's gonna be closed, you know?
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so we can look into that.
Other thing, do you guys want Christmas decoration for this year or not?
I was gonna ask.
Above what we have?
Well, we have nothing.
We got that little string.
Yeah, well, forgot
Got that
when I
little
when I said
string,
Christmas decorations, we are not going to have a vendor that puts them, basically rent them out to us and then take them down. It's gonna cost a lot of money. You can pay good money and they're that permanent, but there is a lot of technology now. So it's up to you.
Several homeowners have
Yeah.
different things, different lights that
Talking
they
about
can
the
change
Christmas
throughout the
decoration, what do
year.
you think?
The challenge you're gonna run into is most of the Christmas decorators, whether it be permanent fixtures or whether it be rental lights, they're usually booking up in August.
I know.
So it's gonna be challenging. I'm happy. I mean, I have two firms that I work with that I can strong arm a little bit if you guys are interested.
It's, I hate to say, it, but I'm gonna say it since you brought, I have a guy that he was willing to do it, but all the issues in the board, he don't wanna get involved anymore. Well, he used to do good work for us and we all know him, he's our neighbor, he don't wanna get involved anymore. It's like, there's a lot of issues. So I don't blame him. So that's one of the things, I don't know, what do you guys wanna do? You wanna have Christmas decoration or not?
I support the idea. The only thing that turned us off a long time ago was that we got ripped off.
Yeah.
Spent 10 grand. That was supposed to include some permanent components. One permanent component is still on the corner of, it's on the action item list. It's the one with the GFI that won't,
Gotcha.
whatever, but, that was essentially the permanent component and a few other things, light fixtures installed and plug them in and so on.
Sure.
And it cost 10 grand and people didn't even notice when they were up because there was nothing, it was a bad
Even
experience.
stuff here had issues coming on. I don't know if it
It's
was.
just a bad experience. But
Time
I
over.
would visit it again. I would support that.
So this is all we're going to get, you do, I know it's Gary's, so you do your side, I do my side, hopefully I can find somebody, this my plan is, permanent one, in the front entrance, there's two, so you have the main entrance,
Being the entrance facade.
yeah, and then you have there one, and you have, when you make a left, there's another sign of Isles of Bayview.
Is there a electric there?
Yeah,
There should be because of the fountain.
so you have that one, and when you make the first left, there is another sign, it says Isle of Bayview, that one too. And this amenity center here, we're talking about permanent one, is gonna be costly,
The one you just mentioned already has something, so
They have something?
get that turned on.
but the problem is if that don't match colors.
Well, but it's a white ring.
So
around the top.
nobody's gonna notice between those three spaces, but the question would be,
Matching, that's all.
well, no, do we get, like here, if we're gonna put lights up, can we get color changing?
Yeah, those,
Throughout
of course,
the
that's the ones we're
Well,
talking about.
obviously the ones on the little sign probably.
That's what I was telling
Pure
you,
white.
they need to be the same. So let's just leave it all together the same,
Like
changing colors.
that's on the list.
But
It's-
until you
it's
get the outlet
it's
fixed.
Infinite lights component of the list. It's that corner. It's GFCI. We've been told they can't get these lights turned on for a year and a half. GMS couldn't get the lights fixed.
Okay.
So just remember, like, Christmas lights and that are kind of tied together, because now the board is sort of saying, let's get those maybe turned on, but replace them with something that matches other permanent lights that we
Okay,
put in the other.
so what we'll wind up doing is whoever that vendor is will say, look, there's something already here. Number one, can you fix it? Number two, if we did fix it, would it match close enough that it's worth fixing?
You cannot match it.
Well, I was gonna say, those are not,
You cannot match it.
those
You
aren't
need to
color
be the-
changing.
Yeah,
are they?
they're not.
Yeah.
You need to have the same ones. That's one side of the story. The second side of the story is, I'm gonna drag you Heather to this thing. I know you volunteer a lot in this community. The inside decoration here, we can have a committee. Or not committee, just volunteers from homeowners. They take care of it. You put the Christmas tree.
So you gotta fill out the form.
And we
Yeah,
have the
just,
tree. You want to more-
yeah,
we have
yeah.
the tree.
What do you think about that, Alan? You ready? What do you think?
Well, like if we bought interior direct decoration.
The decoration,
Someone, so someone comes back after reviewing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is,
So,
we're talking about
those,
that.
the interior, the interior decoration things, we can use our money. We don't need a vendor for that. You
Yeah.
just buy ornament, and not ornaments, wreaths and stuff, big wreaths. It's gonna cost cheaper than hire somebody to do it. I'd be more than happy to do it outside here for you guys, and insurances too, I can do that. We just need to agree which one of them we need. The big ones are expensive a little bit, but it's what you're gonna keep, Go ahead, Gary.
Permanent lighting isn't as permanent as you think. There is a lifespan on the permanent lighting.
Mhm.
So it's 5, 6 years from what I've been told. Just so you know that. Now, is there anyone that there's certain circumstances of variables here? Does anyone can send me that information on exactly where?
The locations, I'll do that.
Okay, so this way there's no confusion. I guess.
See, trust me, see, one of those lighting you're talking about, I know what you're talking about. If you put the other ones, the normal ones, they're gonna charge you almost the same price for lower quality, and you have a bigger chance they didn't get ruined. So might as well spend the money the good way.
But,
Just replace the whole.
well, I
thing.
mean, obviously, if it's 5, 6 years, then we have almost 5, 6 years life out of the ones in the front there because they haven't
Yeah.
been on.
Yeah, that's, so those two things need to be worked on as soon as possible. The floor and the Christmas decoration.
Got it.
All right.
Events?
All right, so this is just simple, okay? Tiny bit of background, we once had an amenity center manager. $60,000 a year, that person planned events, the events were well received, people had a great time, enjoyed it. Board decided, because of a lot of things that were also happening, that $60,000 a year did not justify what we were getting out of it, and that position was canceled. But people still expressed interest in having community events, and at the time, it was discussed volunteers could come volunteer to create or plan whatever events they wanted, and, if they wanted to seek funding, we had a small $2,000 line item budget once upon a time. Anyway, that didn't work out last year. A couple of the requests to do events were denied any funding by the board, as well as the HOA board. I think now we have three individuals, two work together on one of these, and another one did the wing thing. My wife is one of the people that worked on this Christmas idea, which you all have in front of you. So we saved $60,000, and this Christmas event outlined here, and just answer more questions if you want about this proposed event, has an itemized list talking $280 to buy the things for that event. And then Mr. Ying's request for $100, I believe, for his for the
Wing contest?
wing contest thing. I personally am 100% supportive of this. It's needed. We need some positivity in the community. There isn't any, and this is chump change. I don't expect people to pull this money out of their pocket to try to organize community events. So I would like the board to consider funding these two requests and be open to future requests as well.
Just to make something clear, the $60,000 doesn't say we went to the campus, so we didn't say.
Oh, no, but that was per year.
So this is.
That would have been per year, Rabah.
Yeah,
We
no.
would have had that person every single
You
year,
got me.
not that one time.
Yeah, but anyway.
And that's why I'm.
So the other side of the story is, I know a lot of people were the beginning like, oh, you guys don't want to do this. And we were in a tight budget at the time. Now it's a little bit, that doesn't mean we're gonna make it rain as well now. We need to watch,
Yep.
It's not against this stuff here.
It's an excellent idea. It gets the ball rolling. It needs some more activities in this place.
Yeah, but my point is, we need to be fair as well, too. We cannot just say whoever who wants to have an event and comes here and have
Sure,
it.
that's why you have a discussion.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, I have no problem with it. And to be honest, I mean, how many events you planning to have a year approximately?
thinking of doing a couple, just things that wouldn't cost any money, it would be,
For the fun.
it would be just like a do-it-yourself, like, class in here. That would be the people, you know, who decided to attend would be spending the money for it, and we should need space. And then probably like Easter, some, maybe 1 or 2 in the summer. And then some smaller kind of like TV, movie night for kids, you know, just things like that.
So. if
And then,
that's-
you know, we're probably going forward, maybe something for Halloween further.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe 5, 6 the most.
All right, so in this case, you're gonna be the one in charge of this event so far.
I seem to have been the one to do. I'm the one for punishment, I keep bringing it up.
Okay, it's fine. So basically, all you have to do, obviously, there's gonna be the form. You need to make sure the room is available, and we should be fine. I mean, I see no problem.
So that's why, the date, I didn't write it on top of all the sheet, 12/13 would be the date for that Christmas thing, so we would like to not rent, out the facility for that.
Okay.
And then the other thing that we learned from previous discussions, about this, idea is that if the room itself, is going to be hosting this after dark, because we got the sunrise, sunset thing.
Yep.
Which it makes sense to do, honestly, you're not gonna be on here by 4:30. So we would also need to, coordinate with Kai to make sure the room security thing is shut off, people don't get, the police are coming in 5 minutes if you don't leave.
This door opens and then the camera, like the
Okay.
camera system is aware that
Yep.
it's gonna be a late night.
Since we're talking about this topic too, it would be good if you track all these things by the next fiscal year. We might probably have a line item specifically for those events, so it won't be an issue like, oh, we just then we'll have an estimate how much things cost. I mean, if it costs a couple $1,000, you just have
We
it.
have, yeah, I was gonna say we have a lot.
Yeah, so we had it before, when it was brought before the board before, some of the things proposed for the 4th of July thing was like a coffee machine. And a few things would be a one-time purchase, but then could be available for events throughout the year that we could have, so usable.
So do we have like a credit card?
Yeah,
or
we
a
do.
card that we could give
We
the
do.
individual that we okay to have?
No,
it
you
so they
need to
can
go
plan-
through the management company if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so let me tell you where you're at with it. Right now, I have a credit card that I can use, bill back to the district, but what we really need to do, which is probably appropriate, is get a district card.
Yeah.
That way you guys don't pay any processing fee and it's quicker and all that type of stuff.
Hmm.
But in order to do that, and to the point, you might have had it with GMS, it's pretty typical. But the problem is not the problem, but when you leave a management company, they shut down everything.
Okay.
So in other words, in order for me to do that, I would just need a motion from the board, basically authorizing the opening of a credit card account and setting a dollar limit on it, basically. And we would probably put my name on it or Gary's name, or if you choose, you can designate a board member, but then.
You need to be present all the time.
Correct.
Yeah, so with the management and all that.
Yeah, I mean, and you can even do it, some districts do it, that they have 2 cards issued on the same account, and it might be the chairperson and a staff member. That way, if you're buying a coffee machine, you don't have to, hey, Andy, go get me a coffee machine and bring it down, that sort of thing.
So something like this, I basically, the designated board member would go with, if once approved, that would go with the resident so that they could go shopping to buy these things?
What about like they
Card?
bring receipts and pay back to people on the phone?
As a board, you can determine, for example, if you have, a resident volunteer taking on this thing.
Mhm.
And again, it's really what the resident feels comfortable with, right? Because you can say to them, sure, go get that, present the receipts, as long as it's approved by the board,
Yep.
ahead of time, then it's very easy to say, hey, this was approved by the board, and here's the receipts for it, and then we just reimburse. That's your other option, yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, because we're kind of led to down a different path. I thought that it couldn't be reimbursed, even if approved, that it had to be paid directly for by a representative by the board or GMS themselves. But it doesn't matter.
I mean.
That's how we do it, that sounds great.
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't matter.
I'll double check with our finance folks, but I don't think there's any
Yeah.
issue with that. I mean, we're basically, if it's for a, district event and you
Right.
guys have approved it, I don't see any issue with that.
Then we keep it going.
So we have two things here then, a potential motion to approve these, and I guess the approach would be that the things could be purchased. Only one of them is more time sensitive, I guess the Christmas one, purchased and receipts turned in
Then you get reimbursed.
for reimbursement. And then a second, I guess, motion would be, right, to authorize or tell you to go ahead and get a card that's a CDD card for
Yeah.
future.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's benefits to that. I'm trying to think of an example, but like we had another district that we needed a ladder. And so, we went out and got a ladder because we had the card available. Again, we can see how it goes and maybe you'll never have the need, but it just makes things a little.
It's good to have it done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking of was just the fact that we established like an emergency spending authority, up to a certain amount for landscape and for, like, who knows what that is? Maybe it's something you have to pay with a credit card.
We've had that, we've had vendors, we just had one not too long ago where it was an electrician and he was basically buying parts on behalf of the district, tax exempt, that sort of thing. And we had to front it basically in order to do that process. So it comes up occasionally, and if you want, you can do it incrementally. You could do a credit card again for the chair or the vice chair and then keep us out of it or.
Let's just, the safe and the best way to do it. You guys have a card, one for you, one for Gary. Let's say Gary's in the area all the time.
Sure.
A homeowner, if he does something, provide the receipts and you don't get reimbursed. Simple as that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
It's just,
so we
it
would just,
makes more sense.
let's go with the events first, if you
Yeah.
want to make a motion on that and see how that goes.
I motion to, yes, approve the event.
Okay, and do we have a second to
Any
that?
question, Ron?
I have a question first.
Sure.
Are we just motioning to accept that we're doing events? Are we setting
These two-
dollar?
There's two events.
So,
Just as presented in these two documents with,
but we're not accepting the dollar price.
no, we are, because these people would request reimbursement.
But what if the number is 500?
That's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I don't want to just, I say yes to the event.
Can only speak to this estimate, and she put together this estimate, and so she was going to still pursue this event if the board said no, and pay for it herself. or try to-
No, I'm saying, why don't we just say no
It's
more
not
than
gonna be
500? And so that way,
So how about we do this? We give you a 350 extra. And you know what? If you're gonna spend it, just spend it for the kids and have fun, to be honest with you. What do you guys think?
yeah, I'm gonna say 500, that's fine.
You want 500?
I'm saying, that doesn't mean you have to spend all 500.
Yeah.
We don't need it. It's just that,
That's
Yeah.
That's a good point. The reason the Fourth of July thing was asking for more because it was food. And the reason this is relatively low is I know, because I live with her, she would never get approved, and she didn't include food, this included hot chocolate and a craft.
I saw you will be paying for food.
No food, there's no food.
Yeah, sheets and basically.
Oh,
give me.
I, just make it $500. Just do 500. So like 500.
Okay, so that's enough to exceed 500. Do we have a set up particular?
Second.
I'll say.
Okay, any additional discussion?
Also the wing, this is the two of them, right? Or are we
Yeah.
doing the wing thing separately?
Two.
So this is the two of them, unless you want
The
to.
wing thing is $100.
Yeah, that was.
What is your, like a trophy or something?
Yeah, for trophy and a yard sign, the wing,
Yes.
the wing.
That's fine.
Winner of
So,
the,
once you get it $600, yeah, all right. We're good.
Rubber chicken.
Yeah.
If I don't, we were gonna have a problem.
If there's no additional discussion, all in favor? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, no, you got it right. Okay, so the next motion to consider would be, I believe, a credit card, a district credit card. It would have one for myself, one for Gary, and you would just want to designate the dollar amount.
I mean, how big is the biggest item we're gonna need? Just be safe, can we get like 5,000 maybe?
That's fine.
5,000 should be fine on it.
yeah, it's not spent unless
Yeah,
it's needed.
yeah,
And
yeah.
if something is needed and you can't do it, then
Okay, so we have a motion, it sounds like.
I motion to that.
Okay, and do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Seconded. Any additional discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, that motion carries. see here. Okay, so, okay, we got that taken care of. Any other supervisor requests? If there aren't any, we'll move to our second round of audience comments. If there's any additional audience comments, this is the free form portion of the audience comments. Sir,
I do, thank you. Surprise?
and if you can just state your name one more time.
Jim Casement.
Thanks,
So
Jim.
my first comment is to you, Andy. Kai puts out this e-blast with information to the community of CDD. And I've seen it on Facebook, someone's posted pictures of it, what goes out. I filled this out twice. So I don't know why I'm excluded from this e-blast. I don't want to think it's purposeful, but if you could look into it, you have my.
Yeah, we can look.
The other thing is, one of the things I was very appreciative of when you came on board, when Kai came on board, was the fact that you emphasized that you wanted to keep these board meetings to 2 hours. You were able to do that last time, October 2nd, barely. But this one we failed to do. And, I've been a big proponent of less is more when it comes to meetings. I've run hundreds, if not thousands of meetings. And, it would be an anomaly for a meeting to go over 2 hours. So I would ask that you try to consistently stay with this, in this 2 hour time period. And I made some unsolicited suggestions to Kevin as the chair of this board, because there's been times where it's been 4 hours, over 4 hours. And they've gone, on some deaf ears. But there's ways to do that. One of the things that you should do, Andy, is when you put this agenda, you put time limits on certain areas here and try to keep people on task. Everybody's going off on tangents here constantly, and it's taking up time. And, it's okay for everyone sitting at this board is on the clock. You're getting paid. Everybody over here is not being paid. So I think the board members need to be stewards of our time as well as yours. We'll try to keep it 2 hours. The other thing I get from a transparency standpoint, you talked about three things in this meeting. The landscaping for 30 or 45 minutes, you okayed an irrigation contract, you talked about events, and you talked about credit cards. None of that was on this agenda. It was not brought up beforehand, and as residents, we're allowed to talk about agenda items, but if you're going to constantly be bringing things up that aren't on the agenda, we can't tell you about what our suggestions are, what we would recommend. This events, I don't think the CDD should have anything to do with these events. Turn it over to the HOA. They're an enforcement mechanism. They have more time. You guys have your hands full with keeping this community in good physical shape. Leave the events to them. I don't know why we're even getting them out, why we're voting on it, why we're talking about it. Turn it over to the HOA. And then 2 things I want to talk about: erosions. You're doing an investigation of erosions. I want to know if anyone's done it on my property and back, because twice I brought up to this board about erosions on my property and my neighbors. Going back to when Candace was the chair of this board, and I've never heard anything. The other thing is the streetlights. I've asked about this. What is the contracts on the streetlights? Do we own our streetlights? Are they leased? Are they rent to own? What's the deal on it? And I think that we need to look into that and also see if we should maybe go to solar. Because we're spending $3,900 a month on streetlights, and nobody's got back to me on what's the issue. So I would ask somebody to get me the information so I can research it, or do it yourself. That's all I got.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we are looking for a motion to adjourn. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded, all in favor? Okay, so meeting is adjourned.
That's the best thing. That's those.
Was. Yeah. It was in middle school. Middle school and I taught high school.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you do?
No.
What about the New Year's?
Have our engineer looking at those standing water grading.
That is a tough job.
But we never saw this. So.
There you go, Andy. Oh, thank you.